Hey, lovely to see you here. Um, well, miracles. uh, I was thinking about 5 minutes ago. I haven't even thought about this today. It hasn't even occurred to me what I might talk about, and I really rarely want to know what I'm going to talk about because rather than it be some contrived agenda, I at best like it when whatever the consciousness is that pushes itself through us, when it comes through and it guides the narrative. And it's like slightly awkward, a little bit awkward at the beginning because there's that a slight adjustment from the self-reference person moving into the open channel for the whatever it is to come through. And what occurs to me, first of all, doing so, is this is right out of my head when it occurs to me. This is what occurs to me. It's to do with miracles in relation to manifesting. Because there's something about the metaphor of a miracle that implies that you are in a position of grace in receiving it. This goes with the Taoist model, the idea of the yin, the receptive. But you can't just have the yin and the receptive. You can't just have the receiving graciously. There has to be the balance with the yang, which is the outward going, go get it aspect. And the two work in some kind of partnership together. At best, when it's not happening great, it's more of a conflict going on. Then this is, I think, what I wanted to talk about, because when we're working with this sort of material, there's something inferred that we're meant to be perfect, that we're moving towards perfection, that all the technique, all the angles that we're looking through are going to lead to our effectiveness. And in fact, while in forms, we all know this is not going to happen, because it doesn't matter how perfect you get everything you know about yourself. Something will be that you don't know about yourself that won't be perfect, that will keep the yin yang motif moving in you. And therefore, when in the process of manifesting, we'll talk a bit more about that when you by that. And if the noise of the motorbikes going by, I guess see that, just tell me. There'll be phases of moving with what feels like a beautiful wave supporting you, and it just carries you and you do what you have to do, and most of the time you feel really fine with it, and things develop and you go along, and then it will reach its zenith in maybe some sort of success whereby you delude yourself momentarily that you've done it, you've cracked it, you've got it, you know everything. And the next thing will be something that happens that reminds you that you don't know anything really, very much at all. I mean, there'll be, I'm taking it slightly extreme, but there'll be phases where you'll be doubting your whole modus operandi, your whole stratagem for living. You'll be doubting all the decisions you made and wondering if you were just deluded in rolling with the way that you did. And that has to happen. This is the interesting thing. It's not a mistake when that occurs. It doesn't mean that you're regressing. It doesn't mean that your amazing amount of work you do in discovering yourself has been in vain. Before the next stage of awareness, of clarity, of consciousness expansion comes necessarily constriction. Before the next phase of supreme clarity comes a phase of muddy-headedness. And I always report from my own experience rather than preach, because from theory, and so that's really what the example for this is. Interesting. I don't want to indulge myself at your expense, just using me as an example, in a different position to you if you've been experiencing AMPS yourself, if it's because I've been producing it obviously, but the experience is very similar. There are enough parallels. And what I found was really fascinating is after this really intense period of producing those 3 volumes, which really take me right through, I think, all aspects of the whole manifesting process, all the angles, maybe not all, but a lot, enough to be going on with. And really feeling the effects of it on myself. I mean, transformationally, really quite remarkable. And it's tricky for me because I'm really asking a lot for people to roll with that much material in a line. But the idea really was that you go volume 1, 2, 3, because they kind of lead into each other. But they work anyway. I mean, I made sure of it. And for me, having done that process, it then came to a point about 3 weeks ago, and I found myself at a party in Marrakesh, and it was like being in the movie because it was in a kind of not derelict, but a building, a disused, very old building in the souk, huge place that a friend of mine bought and was going to be turning into a hotel. Before he did that, he wanted to throw a party there. And the guy is an artist, he did a great eye, and he had amazing dancers and vocalists and musicians from Berlin doing this weird theatre stuff, and really fascinating people. And I spent a whole weekend around all this, came out the other end thinking, oh, wait, maybe I just don't really, I'm not on it, or maybe I'm not in, I don't have that, I'm not whatever. And I knew that I was doing it, and it was imperative to do it, going through a self-doubt process, which coincided for me with what has actually been so far my greatest creative challenge ever, in many ways, which is these AMP microdoses that I'm making. Because this is the next stage of getting AMP to a much wider audience. And they're just 3 to 3.5 minute, like singles. Each one addresses a different issue. But to get the balance between efficiency and art, and knowing that these are directed at a sort of 18 to 35-year-old sort of audience, because I really have a very strong urge to be of service to them, because, I just do. And, I've got 3 sons more or less within that age range, and I've got my own inner 30 to 33, 20, whatever it is, 18 to 20, is still very active in me. And getting the balance right between getting a sound and that would be resonant for a younger ear without like prostituting myself, not aping any styles of music that are out there, but actually allowing myself to do what it is I have to do. But somehow it had a broader kind of remit, because I can refer to children's TV programs, I can refer to The Lion King, I can refer to any of the stuff that people of that age group might have grown up watching or listening to. So it's quite fun, because you know what I mean, the references and everything. And but what was the hardest part? So I've got 70 amazing tracks now. I mean, they are 70. I could get selective, and but they're good. If I say so myself. And doing the vocals was the biggest thing. I really had to confess about 5 days ago, I actually thought, I've got a creative block. I've never had one in my life. I've got a creative block. And it was something about acknowledging it that undid it, or it was coming at the point where it was going to get undone. I tried so many different ways, couldn't get the right mic sound, couldn't get the sound of the voice to be like I wanted it to be. Just to make it like I wanted to hear it. And then really crucially, how to script them, because there's a format you want it to have. You want them all to link with each other, and you want to save time. You want to be really succinct. You can't have loads of words, very short space of time to create the trance required. And I got it finally. I've been messing about for months actually trying to get this one. I finally got it. Oh, the relief of it was just amazing. And with that came this week a feeling of expansiveness And then I'm telling you, this is why I'm telling you about this. I had to go through the pain of the to come out and keep that courage in the midst of it all. To go, no, go on, keep going, believe in yourself, just keep going, and then coming through with the reward. Go, oh, vindicated, yeah. All right, I wasn't deluded about it. And then noticing with the levity of heart that generates in me, i.e., the miracle is working. And I must say also that through it, when I was feeling constriction and thing, that technique worked beautifully, because that beginner's mind that they talk about in Zen, where you go, this is a miracle, right here is a miracle, I am a miracle, this is a miracle. And that triggering you into that miracle mind state. I use that a lot. I completely forgot what I was talking about. I think anyone would have done. I was taking the tangent thing just that little bit too far. No, I'll tell you what it is. Coming out of that, the lightness, it was obvious. I had to go through constriction to humble me, just enough to go, look, I just can't, I'm not going to use tricks that I've learned. I can't just use, copy myself. I can't do this content. Suddenly it all opened up and I could do whatever I needed to do. And then at the exact moment of that comes all these different people in for me, in terrible states of, physical illness, mental distress, losing people that they love, being told they're dying, whatever it is. There's all these different people that are coming to me that I'm helping, and at the same time, it's really strange. It's just at that moment of and then it's the yin and the yang of it all that I'm trying to impress upon me as well. That we have an intention. I have an intention. I want to manifest something. The process I go through, this is important, let's work this one now. The process I go through is I first look at which part of me wants that thing. And it's okay, there's no judgment. But if it's the 4-year-old, for example, to play, the 4-year-old wants to play. And because he wants to play, he wants to manifest a certain scenario, which is a really playful one. It might be, and because of my age now, it can be relatively grandiose, because I could conceive that. Whereas, the 4-year-old didn't know much about the world and what could be done. And then I noticed where it comes from in my body. And the thing about this modern technology, why did it be just when the track needed to go back on repeat, it had to come and obliterate my gift? Where was I at? Yeah, manifesting something. I look at the part of me it's coming from, and that little boy is somewhere in my liver and around that area, and that figures, because in this medicine I do, the liver is where your inner wild one lives, the unbridled self, the uncultured self, the one that just wants to play. And then there'll be the kind of sensible part, which for me is a lot more feminine than it is masculine. It feels like a bit like sort of a Florence Nightingale figure with one of those Victorian kind of nurses out. He sits in my back and goes, "Come on now, Stephen. You really need to do this or do that." So if I feel that the need to manage, and that's important, if I can feel if it's coming from what I'd say is her, if you like, okay, so I take note of what they're telling me. This one wants that. This one wants that. Then there'll be the hunter-gatherer will say, "Come on, let's go do that," and that one will want that. And I listen to all of them, what they're wanting, and I let it all just sit there and percolate into a picture. And then I ask myself, what will that bring me? What qualities of experience, sensations am I going to get from that? And it's hard to put these in words, as you know, but it would be something along the lines of, relief is a big one. The relief that I'm not nuts, the relief that going with the picture was the right thing to do. But more than relief, it's what I was saying at the beginning, the grace. It's the grace of feeling the benevolent providence of life, that symbiotic relationship that we have with this invisible realm, where it provides what we need for us in the most quirky, unexpected, and often amazing ways. And there's so much grace in that, as opposed to graspingness. And then I go, okay, so that's the feeling that I'm looking for, where everything feels all right. Everything feels all right. Everything's okay. There's nothing to worry about. And I feel in my right place, and everything will resolve as it's meant to do. So then, instead of looking for any manifestation whatsoever, any miracle to provide me that experience, I instead manifest that experience, because I access it within me. We all access these qualities, these sensations, this kind of tone of mind. We all access this from within, and that's really the only place. It seems that external factors are doing it, but they're just triggering, and we are producing the experience from within. It really doesn't come from without. So I then will first create an intention to feel that I am in my rightful place, and that I am fully justified in spending my time as I do, and that I have nothing to worry about, which includes that I am free to desist from the habit of worrying, and that I feel wholesome and unafraid of life, unafraid of death. I feel that I am playing my part as well as I possibly could be, hence that I'm not wasting either my time or the opportunity of being here. So there's fulfillment. And I can manifest that, as can you. I just intend that. And I don't have to drive myself mad about it. I just agree to it. And then I have to just gently remind myself, which that kind of happens naturally anyway, throughout the day, especially when I note myself becoming the opposite of that. And then I look at the actual details of the thing I think I want to manifest. And I see it as a possibility, as a potential. And I agree to doing it. I agree to having it if it is what is intended by the flow of events. If it is in accord with the Tao, then I fully agree to it. And if that isn't what it is, i.e. if I'm interpreting the flow incorrectly, that something as equally effective at producing the desired state, or rather, if I contradict myself, at reflecting, mirroring back at me, giving me the 3D experience of the desired state, the manifestation of it, it will come to me in whatever way it needs to do. And my role is really just to agree, and also to be willing to serve the all in whatever way I'm prompted to from within. And if I do that, the miracles will flower, the miracles will happen. And this week, I've had a week of absolute miracles, because the tracks, I was really tempted to play one, but there's too much faffing around with it. I haven't got the control sorted on this system yet to be able to do it smooth, and I can't really, if I ever figure out how to do it like slick, I will. But anyway, you'll get to it eventually. But it was a miracle, because I was not planning to create those sounds that are of these finished ones, or even to say or sing the things that I did. It was all kind of guided as it happened. I mean, it really was quite a miraculous thing, whereas a week earlier I was even remarking to somebody how utterly ironic it was that, having spent, this is what I was going to say at the beginning, months on end creating these volumes, and most recently The Miracle, and being utterly absorbed in it and completely in the miracle mind, I had flipped to the complete opposite. And I was aware I'd done it, so I hadn't lost it, but I was observing myself going through the kind of, oh, have I got it? Am I right to do that? The contradiction of everything that's in there. You know, I trust my own way. I go with what, you know, the way for me is the right way for me. I don't assume any other way, and the miracle keeps happening, and everything will resolve itself in the most elegant way, and everything works out. Also, smart advantage, all of that stuff running. It was just so fascinating watching it go the other way, and we have to let that happen. And then you come out of there with a touch less arrogance, because it's impossible, I wager, for anyone to not pick up the slightest hint of a bit of like, aren't I clever, as it's going really well. So you come through the chicane without that, and you've got more humility, and of course it's all relative. You grow in these qualities, and yet also with more focused drive and intent to accomplish whatever it is you want to do. Bearing in mind, it's all a game anyway. None of it really ultimately matters at all, because we're all going to die. You know, everyone. Hopefully not for a long, long time. But none of this game really matters. It's just us passing the time while we're hanging around waiting to die. So we have to do it in a creative, I feel, enjoyable, loving to others way as possible. And for me, the buzz, the game, the excitement, primarily beyond anything I can do with any other people, the buzz for me is my partnership, so to speak, my dialogue with the consciousness informing it all, the Tao. There is the fun for me. And I just want to point out, before I ask if you have any questions, that I notice in myself with my Western background, when I say that, my partnership, my dialogue with the Tao, there's a part of me that wants to go, you can't do that. The Tao is God. God is up. God is bigger, better. You're small. You're nothing. You're not worthy, blah, blah, blah. Because that was the conditioning that the Western world was subjected to, or subjected itself to, for, what is it, you know, near on 2,000 years, I guess. Well, the beauty of the Tao and Taoism is that your relationship with the presence, with the spirit informing all of this here on the level. I mean, it's not even just outside, it's in you. You find it in your back. You find it in everything around you and everyone around you. And when I lived with the Native Americans, what I was probably the most important thing I learned in 4 years was how to pray, as they put it, how to talk to the spirit in everyone and everything, and have it talking back to me, being able to hear it talking back. That really, I guess, really was the most powerful transformative key ever turned in my life. Maybe, I think. Yeah, probably. It must be. Because then as that develops, as you learn to sit in your back more and more, and that develops, you become increasingly less reliant on external factors to support you. You're less reliant, you know, I mean, I rarely make a phone call. People call me. I rarely text people. People text me. In that thing of reaching out, so to speak, I don't need to anymore. It's a feeling of, it's fine, whatever. If I feel a bit awkward, a bit of sort out of sorts with life, a bit scared, it's very rare, very, very rare that I'll actually call someone and say, oh, I really feel a bit weird today. Is it a weird day? Is it just me or that? I used to do that. I don't feel the need. I'm not suppressing it. Just, it's not important anymore, because I can let go, and so what? I feel that and it passes, you know. I'm with the thing. I feel lonely, if I feel sad, I feel whatever it is, it passes really fast. So the need for external succor or validation, approval, does decrease, and is replaced with a feeling of love for everybody, even people who go a bit wonky with you, especially if people go wonky with you, you know, to be able to somehow assume the best will happen with them rather than the worst, and then know that it will be, everything will be forgiven, or misunderstandings will clear up and whatever else. And this also increasingly, I'll hand it over as well in a minute, but that whatever is for the highest good and by the free will of everyone, only that happens. And that is the meditation for me at the moment. and I do it every day as part of my Qigong thing. It's like I offer the situation that involves me and every other person in my life to the Tao, and say the only what is for the highest good and by the free will of everyone here. Let it happen. Let everyone benefit. And it's a discipline because it doesn't come never. You know, I was a mad little tearaway kid who just wanted to run around and have fun. It was took a lot to stop me and make me think about other people like that. You know, so it's a kind of training in a way. You know, it's a self-training to just devote a little bit of energy each day to the world without wanting anything back, or you're not doing it because you think God will be happy with you. Or, you know, you'll avoid bad karma or whatever like that, just because it's a beautiful thing to do, just to give your thing. And then you feel your relationship with humanity. It just feels more buoyed up, more buffered somehow by the lubricant, the social lubricant of OMMM. You feel the connection with people, the alliance with people. It feels safer walking around, basically. You assume the best will occur in the world, assume that humanity will do its best and will shine, and then that's what you start seeing. And somebody asked me a brilliant question about the coming of Armageddon. I don't know if they're here. If they are, they can ask. If not, I can ask it on their behalf. But I'm going to throw it open the floor now to you to ask questions, make comments, or whatever. You raise your hand, and Whirly will take care of the rest. And if there are no questions, I think I might have a conversation with Whirly instead.
Thank you, Barefoot. That was wonderful. Thank you. There's a couple of, well, there's quite a few comments. Taya, warm hugs to everyone from Slovenia.
Thank you.
Sam. Hi, Barefoot and Whirly from my Yorkshire retreat, Grace and Sam.
Hey, Grace and Sam.
And Sam says, we love Amped and can't wait for the next instalment. It's the future.
I agree. Thank you.
And there's a question from Christian Hembach, who says, can you teach how to develop and use the Guardian or something else from School for Warriors 4?
Now. Oh, you mean now?
Can you teach how? Oh, maybe can you? I don't know. That's what he says.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah, Christian. Thank you. You've reminded me. That's what I need to do. I thought of it and then I forgot ages ago. Because on behalf of my late master, that needs to be done. It's a tricky one to work with because it's so kind of nebulous in a way, and risks being so conceptual. But the bizarre thing about it is that even with that, if you just practice awareness of it each day, which is the way it's done, within what I recall as being about 3 months of that, at the most, suddenly it's visceral. You've got it, you get it. And it's always been like that with the Tao stuff. Always. And this one, I remember when he told me, took me to that next level. Because it's involved with the martial arts. You do know that it's involved with the fighting, believe it or not. Because, a lot of the Taoist boxing thing is very psychic. You really, I don't know if you saw Guy Ritchie's Sherlock Holmes movie with Robert Downey Jr. in the fight scene. To me, it's I think the best fight scene I've ever seen. It's exactly like that. He completely calls it. You see it first and then it happens. It's really interesting and it comes to you, you don't make it up. Anyhow, the Guardian is the presence. I don't want to make it banal by brushing this and simplifying it too much. It's the presence that you experience is much bigger than you and above you, as it were, but all around you, but mostly kind of behind you. It's kind of you in a way, but it's not you, just this lifetime you. And it's not like your past life, it's something that's always there for you. So it is, in a way, the body of the soul, but even that would be misleading. That would give it, be too limiting. The way it's described is that it has these strange bits and pieces all over it, like a cowl over its face and a kind of a beard thing, like a long Nebuchadnezzar type beard, and it has these strange things strapped to its arm, all kind of weird stuff like that. And they were actually points that you'd use in the martial arts in the fight. You go for that area if you could dismantle the cowl Oh, I'm laughing because I've had so many funny times with it. Yeah, I mean, I have actually lifted a guy right off the ground with nothing, no strength whatsoever, using this technique. Anyhow, the Guardian, every day, what it comprises is everything that's ever happened to you, not just in this lifetime, but in every lifetime. Everything that's ever happened to all of your ancestors, etc. Everything that's ever happened to all of the alliances struck by them and by you with everyone ever. All of that combines into, or somehow is absorbed into, the Guardian. That's the Guardian energy. The Guardian guards you as you move into destiny, which is what's before you. The destiny is the arena in which things can happen. And as soon as you surrender to destiny, you do this from having acknowledged what I've just been talking about and having the Guardian, feeling the Guardian with you. You are going into destiny with it, and you surrender. You are not my enemy. I'm not afraid of you. I surrender to you. You're my heart and soul. Thank you. I love you for giving me the space, or everyone the space, for things to happen here. Because without you, destiny, there would be nothing happening ever again. And as soon as you do that, it morphs, or part of it morphs, into what's called Destiny Angel, which is within you. It's like it is now looking out through your eyes, awaiting your direction. And you tell it, Destiny Angel, I tell it, resolve every situation in my life with absolute elegance, and let everything work out in the most glorious, beautiful, seamless, easy way for everybody. And take us, if I'm in the romantic mood, to the festival of all angels. And then I lie back inside, I float back, and I start flying backwards. And I'm flying backwards away and away and away and away and away from the arena of what's desired, of this manifestation I'm thinking about. And as I move backwards away from it, faster and faster, I'm creating a vacuum that sucks the essence of everything I need into itself. And then eventually I stop, and I'm here, I'm holding it. And I just sit and hold it, or stand and hold it. And I'm there. I'm as big as the universe. I'm encompassing whatever it is that's coming to be next, and loving it and giving it the warmth and the beauty for it all to be my friend and ally rather than my enemy. I mean, that's it, really, right there. That's it, Christian. Thank you. You got that from me. I hope that helps you. I would love to hear from you again if you feel any kind of suggestions of how you'd like that to be presented or fleshed out or explained in detail.
Okay, thank you, Barefoot. There aren't any more questions, but Leah Folwell says hi all.
Hi, Layla.
Christian Hembach says hello as well. And Sabine Conrad says hi, Doc, and everyone.
Hey, Sabine, how are you?
That's it for now. No more questions or comments.
All right. So there was a woman, and I can't remember. Yeah, wasn't it you, Layla? Layla, wasn't it you that had the question? Let me know. Is it you?
I'll let you know when she responds.
About Armageddon. Because you asked it better than I could have.
Oh, hang on. Layla, yes, it was, she says.
Well, go on then.
Can you elaborate? Can you elaborate, Layla? Leah, yeah, Layla, that's it. Still waiting. I know what it's like. Takes a while to type in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Taya, while we're waiting, says huge thank you to you, dear awesome Doc. And any recommended resources to explore more about the Taoist guardian and angel?
I've never seen it. This was just passed down through my lineage. So I don't know. We were gonna the students were meant to be writing it actually. I never did it though. But I will. But no, I don't. No. I don't know, anything that you can ever find out about John Kells, he was the repository of all that wisdom.
Okay, and Leah has said she has her hand up now, but I can't find it. How to accept the earth will do, and what it will do what it, or how to accept the earth will do what it will.
Yeah, with our sonic, you mean?
Sorry?
With our sonic, you mean? Yeah, like, well, look, I'm having this conversation with a lot of you. You asked it in a much better way than that before, but anyway, this is
I'll
what
try and find her hand.
Okay.
Okay, can you put your hand up again, Layla, if you have put it up, because I can't see it at the moment. Okay. Oh, there's another. What you just said about how to accept the earth will do what it will, for now anyway, if you can answer that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the conversation's obviously coming up a lot, but for me, I know, I'm sure it is for everybody. And people who were not given to this kind of area of inquiry at all in previous years are now talking about it quite openly, which I think is a healthy thing. And we know that whichever way we play it, there are vast changes coming in the way that we live. And as with the yin and the yang of everything, some of them won't be that nice, some of them will be. Whatever, that always happens. You're always going to get that strange dance happening. And if we are to use the sort of, I don't know, if you use just common sense really, what you glean through the noise of disinformation and nonsense in the media, you know, you get the story bit by bit. You know, we're in a pretty challenging position right now on every front, and which I never doubt or question the way things develop, because that's the way they're meant to develop, as unlikely and implausible as they may seem. And I trust that whatever goes on is doing it because that's what's going to be happening. But it's a strange thing to see. It reminds me of when we were kids and we go out rowing in a rowboat with about, I don't know, 10 of us or whatever. And there would be girls and boys, so we'd be about 11, 12 years old. And one of the boys, the bigger 14-year-old boy or whatever, who's a bit of a yacht, would get up and start rocking the boat and doing it a little bit too much. And it was almost like we were going to fall out and everything. And it feels a bit like that with the politics at the moment, the way it's all kind of rolling. Feeling of those big yobbo boys are sort of standing up and rocking the boat. Why now, of all times, when we really need to focus on? Then I'm thinking, well, maybe we don't really need to focus on whatever. And so you were asking me, I think, it's like, how do you stay positive, really, isn't it? Genuinely, open-heartedly positive about humanity when you look around and see what's going on. And I just have to say that, and I said to you later that, well, first of all, it's a great reminder to be appreciating. Oh, hello, there you are.
I think I'm here.
Well, nice to hear you or see you or whatever's going to happen next. Are you going to be visible in that?
I think if you can, your bottom left of the screen, Layla, if you've got a video option, if you click on it, I think we would be able to see you. Can you see it at all? Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine. Come on, just talk.
Oh, okay. So sorry, technology is not my thing, and
that's all right. Don't matter.
This is way out of my comfort zone.
Well, you're doing extremely well with it. Now, go on. Can you remember the question the way you asked it? It was a really good one.
Yeah, it's more like how to live with it and not be frustrated by it. And I think I've recently read somewhere you said I've given up trying to save the planet, like I'm just going to accept that the planet will heal itself or not. But I suppose I see, you know, so many things working against the planet that just frustrates me and does make me literally, I think I said it makes me feel violent, you know, which I'm otherwise pretty peaceful. But yeah, it's just hard to see that we're not making enough effort. But then maybe we don't. We just accept it, and like you just said about surrendering to it. Yeah. And then, how to deal with the fact that, I mean, I suppose it's about believing. I'm talking about, there's the belief, isn't there, that everything's got about 10 to 12 years before it's so warm and we can't grow food and there's just going to be mass chaos. And I don't want to be the doom and gloom. I like to put it in a place and think, well, I'll make the best of the next so many years before it starts to get a bit wobbly. And then when I run out of tea, then I'm off. But it's hard to sit with that and be happy and not do anything about it.
Do you think no, I'm right with you. No, that's very clear. No, I'm right. I'm totally with you. There's no clever answer to it, obviously. But still, I have to say that for me, if I can focus on what I admire about humanity, on its genius and its brilliance and the kindness and the like when I'm walking around in the street and I'm dealing with people, they're always lovely. The people I'm dealing with are pretty much lovely. So that kind of contradicts what I'm reading about people, for a start. As for the planet, I don't really have a fear for the planet. It's for humanity. It's for life. So for life on Earth. And I know that it's horrible that we've extincted so many species, and therefore, that means if it continues like this, we'll be extinct ourselves. But I think it must have meant to have been happened, because it's just so obvious, really, in a way. Like, what else was ever going to happen? And maybe that isn't what's going to happen either, because we don't know yet. We have no idea, and it would be presumptuous and rude to say, look, definitely, this is it, because we actually don't know. Miracles do occur, and we don't know. I mean, never encourage bullshit thinking, like fantastical thinking. I'm the last to do that. But I can't walk around convinced this is all. But even if I am, it doesn't matter. If I am convinced it's all going, and we're all going, even that makes me kind of love being here and just honour this time that we're in. We've all chosen to come here now, and it must all meant to be happening. But what it does for me is it encourages me to be more and more kind to people, more and more helpful if I can be, and therefore they act like that more and more towards me. Because if we are going out within 10 years, I just want this to be fun. I don't want people fighting and being horrible. I want everyone to get on with each other. Why? How silly to waste the last bit of it being horrible. So there's that on one level. On the other side of it, there's also a lot of amazing initiatives occurring. And although we're really up against it beyond probably being able to actually really do anything about it at this point, there are things that could change it quite dramatically, and they just need to get an airing and get a bit of finance behind them, and that is the next phase. I mean, that's what I'm really focusing on with my intention, is that, certain projects that have been mooted over the last 20 years, one or two of which I know would work, they're so clever and not expensive even, there's a lot of resistance still at the moment. And so my prayer, my focus is on somehow encouraging that to become the thing, focusing on that growing. And then I think of the Hopi Indians thing, which is all a war being fought in the heavenly realms between the dark and the light forces. And we can't beat the darkness. You can't beat darkness, but all you do is shine your light brighter, and that in itself extinguishes the darkness. And like it's said that there's only one candle flame required to extinguish the darkness of the whole room. So the light, in other words, is stronger. And then at the same time, fuck it, if I'm wrong, and whatever's I'm going to die from something at some point anyway. What's hard is the younger people. Kind of easier for me because I'm 64. It's like, well, and I've had a good run anyway. But it's like my kids and your kids, everybody's kids and their kids. It's like, I don't even know what to say. It's unthinkable. So I have to stay, even if it's fantastical thinking. I have to stay with the positive thing of something is, things have happened. Let's stay open-minded at this stage. But also, say always carry a rubber dinghy on your back with a sign that said just in case. Anyway, if we're lucky, we're going to get whacked by a massive asteroid anyway. We don't have to worry about any of it. So, yeah. So what do you reckon? Is that all just nonsense, or was there something in there that might be helpful?
Yeah, no, it's kind of just nice to talk about it. Yeah, to people who are more like-minded. And yeah, you know, it does generally, since I've sort of roughly accepted its possibility, I have found myself more compassionate to people. Yeah, I'm going to die anyway, and it's making me make the most of the time, which isn't a bad thing. And yeah, you know, dinosaurs, they're gone, so why not us? And I'm an artist, so I'm quite happy to be one of the last artists. It's great for me to go.
but do you, I find it really strange that we collectively developed to this point so in amazing complexity of depth of knowledge and of expression and science. I mean, you know, it's implausible and ridiculous, unimaginable. Is it really all for nothing? Is it just so that, is that what it does? It just reaches the zenith of amazing, go, oh, all gone, and start again some other bit of the universe, you know? It seems ridiculous. At least something should come out of it all. I don't know what, but you know.
Yeah, I think you've just touched actually on where my frustration, because I said to you, you know, like it literally, I can't quite suppress this anger about it. And it is the fact for me that humans have been so successful, everything we've got and everything we know, and we can go to the moon and we can do everything. Why the fuck didn't we do something about this? Like, look after the planet and avoid this. Like, I don't know, that is where my frustration is. And I know the answers to that as well. But that's the bit that makes me angry, that I'm struggling a little bit to deal with, I suppose. So
I understand. Yeah. But you know, when I look back at it, no one was doing it out of malice. I mean, when James Watt invented the steam engine, which started all that whole thing, he wasn't thinking, oh, right, this is going to mess everything up, but fuck it, I don't care. I don't think anyone had any awareness. It was all done from a place of great naivety and done with that thrusting spirit of improving, which is nature. It's nature's driving us. So I feel I forgive us, because we're all part of it. And I don't think none of it was done out of malice. Yeah, there are a lot of greedy bastards around, profit-motivated people who are exacerbating things, but I think they're balanced out by the far greater amount of lovely people around. It's kind of heartbreaking though, isn't it? But I love all that. You know, this is kind of, I like the emotion of it all. It's good to be able to feel so much love for the whole story, really, isn't it? I mean, that's nice in itself. But let's keep an open mind. We don't know yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, thanks, Layla. Before Archie the Miracle wants to speak, but just before that, Christian says, thanks for answering my question. I thought there would be more to it, but don't know what specific to ask. That's the SFW for. Anyway, and Sue Ratley says, enjoyed your chat and learned something as usual. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for saying.
And Archie would like to speak, I think.
Yes.
So we'll unmute you, Archie. You're not now unmuted. You are. You're now unmuted. And if you see a little video image down your bottom left of your screen, if you click on that, because I can't seem to do any more this end at the moment, then it might make you visible as well.
No, it's not letting me. Hi,
Okay.
Doc. Hi, Whirly. Hi, everybody.
Hey, Archie the Miracle. What a lovely name. Nice to meet you.
The video's not working, but I can see Doc, so that's all right. Just a few little things.
Yeah.
One, whenever I'm feeling a bit glum about the state of the world, I definitely just put on Amped and it cheers me up no end, which I'm sure everybody else does. Also, regarding The Guardian, you said they had a beard. Is that a beard for the men or a beard for the women as well?
Good question. Well, it was always described as a sort of a beard-like thing, and I don't think this is a man or a woman.
Okay.
I think The Guardian is transgender. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, handy for keeping your neck warm, I guess.
Yeah. Is that the right word for it? Transgender or dual gender? Yeah, dual gender, bigender, whatever it is. Anyway. Yeah, beyond sex, the guardian.
And the other thing I was thinking about lately is reincarnation. I just wondered whether you thought that actually was a thing that was real, because if our souls continue, where do we continue on to?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, it's not really a question of, for me, I don't need to know, and I don't know. And I don't need to believe or disbelieve either way, it doesn't matter. I've experienced what seemed like my past life memories really, really vividly and helpfully as well. But I'm also equally willing to accept that they weren't my past lives, that they're just beings that I managed to be inside of for whatever reason for a moment. No matter what, when they were or where they were, because I've experienced myself doing that. You know, in fact, I even learned about it from in my training, the astral projection in the Taoism. You know, to go and heal somebody, you actually go inside their body and you fix it from within, if you can be bothered with all that. And so there was this awareness that yes, I can suddenly manifest, looking out through a Victorian man's eyes on a train going past St Paul's Cathedral one evening in 1890, even though I'm on the train in 2000 and whatever, and get the shock when I look out the window. What's happened to the city? This happened to me. And I don't think he was my past life at all. It was just like, it was in his body for a moment. I don't know why. But then again, I don't know. And the fact is that what I have seen, and I can't put this in words clearly, time as we know it doesn't run like we think it does. It's all happening in and now. The future, the past, all of it's already happening now. And therefore, they can't be past lives. They've got to be somehow happening now, even though we're not seeing them. So I say I can't put this in words today. I'm not really getting it properly, but I know it. And therefore, they're not past lives. They're all kind of now lives. And they'd be, who is the me that is my life that it was? I mean, the identity of the, what you might call the oversoul, that splits itself into many different lifetimes simultaneously. That's what I see. What is that identity? That's the interesting part. You know, like that's not like me as I know me, but it is as well. It's really interesting. And sorry, I can't impress you with great clarity about this because there isn't any for me. I just don't know, and how will we know?
Does that mean with astral travel you can travel to the future as well as the past?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
But then, so I don't know if this will help a little bit, but when I was in training in therapy, I found that I just naturally was looking at me as a 5-year-old. Me and Ronnie Lang, we were talking about me, the 5-year-old, in that classroom at school, which was a very traumatic transition for me in retrospect. I didn't know I was traumatized by it at the time, but it was traumatic. You know, a horrible bullying teacher, a cold, nasty environment in the classroom when you're 5 years old. It wasn't like that pleasant. And so I'd be looking through the window, a particular window outside the school, at the kid, talking about him. And I then remembered at a certain point that when I was that kid, I used to look out of that window and there was someone talking to me. And it was a man, and it was a very kind man, very familiar man. And I didn't name or identify him or even question who he was. You know, kids don't, they just accept. But he was the one telling me, don't worry, it'll be fine. You'll be out of this before long. Don't worry, it'll all be fine. You know, reassuring me. And that's what kept me going. It wasn't my mum saying, you can do it, or my dad going, you can do it, that helped. But it was this character. And it wasn't until recently that I realised, wow, that was me. That was me, my future self, talking to the kid. And it was from all, you know, that, and I knew that because I was always looking at him in the therapy. And it was on the way to my mum's place when I'm in London. And once I got that realisation, that very next time I drove past the school, they bricked that window up. It had been bricked up. It was unbelievable. It's like, you don't need that window anymore. Yeah. So there's something about I don't know if that helps at all. Just to...
No, that's good. That's interesting. I've yet to be able to astral travel, but I'll keep working on it.
you know what you've got to do? You've got to do bum walking. You know, like you could walk along the floor in your buttocks. You picture that you're doing that while sitting still, and that each stride of the buttocks is projecting you a huge distance into forwards. And I always picture myself in the Atacama Desert going along the Nazca lines because they're really long and strong. And I get so much speed, I take off. And you take off and just go wherever you want to go, wherever you're drawn to go. That's how you start learning astral travel.
Right.
Getting the movement right. You got to get the motion. Yeah.
Thank you.
You got a very womanly voice for a man. Oh, is that very old-fashioned to say these days? Archie the Miracle.
Well, being trans, whatever it was.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Archie. That's all for now, Barefoot. There's no more questions or comments at the moment.
All right. Well, I'm going off to see my friends Rosie and Jack, who are about 3 hours along the mountains into the west. And so I'm going to go in a minute, but I want to just take you through a process, everybody, if you can. If you just feel comfortable to, so close your eyes. If not, it's fine. And start to tune into the frequencies that you're hearing under the surface there. And they have a really nice effect of cleansing the brain area and bringing your mind back into the back of the skull. Roll with that. Allow your mind to settle at the back of your skull. And you get a feeling of lengthening up through the spine. You bring the back of your head back a bit, and it kind of, when you do that properly, you kind of lift the back of the head, the chin drops, and you get this kind of opening occurs around the ocular region when your eyes are open or closed. And you don't want to just have your mind at the back of your head if the rest of you's in the front, because you'll do a weird kind of zigzag shape. So you need to get the weight underneath your mind. You need to let the weight of the body settle underneath your mind in the back part of you. And it's a matter of just tilting back a bit inside and just allowing the awareness of the weight of your being to settle in the back part. And notice as soon as you do, with your mind in the back of your head, you feel bigger, just much bigger as a being. You're no longer looking through the filter of those stories you've been telling yourself in the front of the brain. Now you're in the back of the head, gazing out into the infinity of life with no filter, just pure awareness. And in the front, you've got your chest, which is a bit like the fortress wall to prevent harm coming to the heart, even emotional harm. But what's interesting about it, by opening it a little bit, opening a hole in the middle of it, it doesn't weaken your defenses, it actually strengthens them. The love coming out of you acts like a safety barrier, in fact, because whoever it touches, it softens them. Whatever it touches, it softens them. It softens it, so that your relationship with external reality starts to feel like it's cushioned, softened around the edges through this love. And it's not your love, it's love. And it's the essence of kindness, that which recognizes everything as its kin, even a mollusk, everything is its kin. So it allows you allow the love that is everywhere to flow through you to everyone and everything. And because you're doing that, it's kind of pumping itself through you even stronger. You're also receiving back the love from everyone else, which is all the same love, with billions of different flavors to it in any given moment. And this is really, I think, this is the lubricant that oils the wheels, that enables the miracles of healing to occur. And remember, miracles are quantum jumps, the exponential progress in any area of your life. So from the back of you, with your heart open, breathing slowly to allow your mind to turn slowly. Firstly, just remind yourself that the fact you're able to do any of this is a miracle. Then remind yourself the fact that you are aware that there's all these other people on the planet with you, and that we're able to gather like we are doing here. That's a miracle. the fact that you have consciousness in a body, you have will, you have agency, that is a miracle. Likewise for everybody else. So you start to realize immediately that existence is miraculous. Then you've got the energy, you've got the miracle energy. Now, ask yourself what you would like, broadly speaking, to happen for humanity, for the planet, for humanity on the planet. Even if what you'd like seems impossible, what would you like? Just picture it. Just picture it. And then allow this miracle energy to move itself towards that, knowing that even with the best miracle will in the world, maybe that isn't what's going to happen. However, who knows? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. So you allow the possibility of a massive turnaround, a massive reversion to a time of wisdom and balance, and that having the effect that's required to ensure our ongoing experiment here. Ask now what you would like for all the people close to you in your life. You don't have to think of them all. But people you work with, even, it's everyone in your actual orbit. And think what you would like for everyone in your orbit, including the people that you aren't necessarily gelling with. And then allow the miracle energy coming through your heart to ignite that possibility. Again, it doesn't matter if you believe it. Don't try and believe it. Don't argue with it, debate it, justify any of that. Just see it, allow it, be willing for it. And then finally, just for now, think of you, yourself, and what you would like for you. Yeah, for you now, for the next short while, whatever it is that you see in your mind, 6 weeks, 3 months, whatever, this next phase of time, this you now and what you're doing now, what would you like for you? Spend a moment on it, take the time. And take the moment to determine the tone of it, the tone of the, the joyfulness of it, the fun of it all, whatever the quality you want it to come in. And take a moment to also invite that whatever it is, however it turns out, it's not only wonderful for you, it's wonderful for everyone in your orbit and by extension for everyone. And remember, this is a miracle. You are a miracle, and you ordaining these miracles is also a miracle. There's no reason to think that one bit of the miracle isn't as powerful as the other. Now, just for a moment, put your attention on the very source of all of this mysterious presence that we've each embodied when we're in the womb, that informs us all, that informs the whole universe, this Tao, even though we can't put a face to it, and just honor it. So, like, whatever it comes to you to say, like, well done, what a show, what a show, what a show. My respect, my admiration, my love, my loyalty to you. And get a feeling of making the connection with it, of just giving it some love, because it needs a bit of love as well. It likes that. And immediately you do, you'll feel it back at you. You'll feel yourself really loved. And it's in this love that the miracles are going to happen. And we will do another one of these in the next 2 to 3 weeks, as soon as I've got my brain around the schedule. And thank you for being here. Do feel free to email or send comments or whatever. Yeah, emails and stuff, and talk further about everything. And all my love to you. And I am about, and by the way, Whirly, you did a beautiful job of it. Whirly's so lovely, and she's always concerned that she's done a good job. And you've done an amazing job. Thank you, really.
Thank you, Barefoot. Thank you. And wow, that was incredible as well. Thank you.
Thanks for saying. All right, I'm out. Lots of love. Bye.